Okay. It is Friday Art Day. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully you can hear me all right today. Sound level should be all right. Just gonna twist a little bit of extra paper here real super quick. Because I didn't get to it last night. I've just been so busy. So busy with a lot of nothing. No, I've been working on the other tissue paper project for part of the week. And trying to work on getting the next round of Bloodthirsty challengers to leveling range for Wednesday's stream, next Wednesday's stream, which was kind of tough this week because we had to move Bloodthirsty to Tuesday this week, and then Wednesday I was gonna stream a different game with the husband that didn't matter if we lost the internet in the middle of it because of the storms, but then we were both tired because we were up way sooner than we wanted to be with a tornado warning. And just as I was about to try to go back to sleep, I did another check on the weather, and they were doing a live stream, and they're like, oh, we have another, we have 2 more actually areas of circulation entering the area that I'm in, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So it's hard to sleep when you're all keyed up, not sure if you're about to get another tornado warning. And then to make matters worse, the husband's phone from Verizon, he got a severe weather warning for the tornado warning on his phone, but the house phone never rang. And we had signed up for code red weather warnings, and we're like, hey, the phone didn't ring. Like, I checked the caller ID, there was nothing there, and I'm like, why? Like, we were just barely in it, but it's automated. If your address is in the little polydoodle that shows up with the warning, you get a phone call. Like, there's nobody sitting there saying, yeah, let's do the phone call. No, it's all automatic. It's programmed. So I was rather concerned. So later in the day, we're like, yeah, we need to re-sign up for this because I don't know what the hell's going on. And so we re-signed up, and the husband had opted us out of the flash flood warnings because our part of town doesn't really flood. Like, the backyard will flood a little bit, but it's just, you know, standing water. It gets muddy, and, like, it doesn't even come up near the house. The house sits on a slope. So we're like, yeah, no, we don't really need that. And then we got called on a flood warning later, and I'm like, well, at least we got a phone call. But that's fine. At least we're getting warnings now. So, alright, so sorry, we're just getting a little bit of paper twisted here. So, for those that don't know, these are all paper snakes, and these are paper snail shells or like rosebud things. So I just take a piece of paper that I've cut, a little square, flip the corners up to make like a little triangle mountain peak thing, and then twist until you have a paper snake. Sometimes the fingers work a little bit better than others. Other times it's pulling teeth to get it to twist. Depends on how nimble and how swollen my hand is for the day. But I've had to do a bit of new prep for the other painting. Because I finally finished the 2 colors that I was working on. And was moving into the sky, which was a lot of different colors. So I'm working on that. I haven't done a new update photo on that one yet. We probably can next week. I can probably give you a sneak peek of it right now when I'm done twisting this paper. But that one's going to be for a time-lapse video. Or just a sped-up version. Not really an accurate time-lapse because it's going to be over the course of many, many days. But I think this is the hardest part of all, because now we got the paper trimmer. It doesn't take me days to cut the tissue paper anymore. But yeah, last night I was like, oh, okay, we need to get some work done on the bloodthirsties. So I got the holy priest, the mage ready for Wednesday, and I got the hunter started, and then I was like, it's like 1, 2 in the morning and I'm tired. So I kind of packed that in. So I was starting to get I'm not paying attention tired, and was spending more time tabbed out than I was actually killing stuff. Where I was located, though, there was just neutral mobs, so I wasn't in a whole lot of danger. But when it starts to get to that point, it's like, okay, let's call this for now. And we'll come back to that later. But I've got a busy weekend, so I have to do the Wild Challenges podcast is tomorrow. So I've got podcasty things to do for that Saturday afternoon into the evening. And then Sunday I have to work on the Children's Week holiday event write-up. I don't know how much of that survived all of the website moves, so hopefully it did survive. Hey Bear, when you get done that thingy, can you take them potty?
Yeah. I got 3 minutes.
Okay. Sorry, getting the husband to take the dogs out. Okay, so I think it's a fair amount of purple for right now. I'll need more, but we can work on the other shades as we need to there. So I really like what's happening with the trees, but I think they're still a little flat, so I want to add I think at least another layer or 2 of paper on that. So I'm just gonna put some glue down. It's just tacky glue. Again, like I said before, I don't know if well, no, I like Elmer's glue would probably work, like the school glue. But you're probably, if you're gonna do the lines or the circle pieces like we have going on in the actual cloud sections, you're probably gonna wanna let it start to set up. Like, not completely dry, but start to get a little bit tackier before really going in there, because I think if you start putting the paper in before it starts to set up just a little bit, then I think you're gonna have some issues where it doesn't want to stay. So like maybe just starts to skin up just a little bit. Oh, I need a stylus. If you don't have a stylus, you can use a toothpick, you can use the end of a paintbrush that you don't care about. You know, something that it's okay if it gets glue on it. Basically. Because it's gonna get glue on it. And this I'm just kind of smushing in there. Just tamping it down in all the little grooves. I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be wrinkly and a mess and folded over on itself to give us more of that, you know, tree texture, like leaves. You know, trees don't normally look completely flat, so. These are just straight up squares of the tissue paper that I have cut down. Like these were, what were these? 9 by 12 sheets or something, 8 by 10, whatever. And then I cut them down into like, not quite 1-inch squares, but small squares. I was originally trying to keep them in a, like a bead organizer box, and that was kind of working, but some of the colors in their little organizer cubbies are a little more full than others for some reason, so some of them are spilling out of their little containers and are refusing to be contained. So, that container is kind of a hot mess at the moment. And a little bit out of control. So, today's music, for me, you can't hear it. I don't want to get DMCA'd. So, you put on whatever music you want to listen to in the background, just whatever chills for you, because we all have different music tastes, right? So you put on what you're happy with. I've been working on going through my music on my computer because I realized lately I'd only been playing like one specific band or one specific couple of artists, and I was like, you know what, I'm not even sure what music I still have on this anymore. So started going through all of the music on my computer and deciding what I really don't care for anymore and shipping that off to the recycle bin, and the rest of it redistributing amongst new playlists.
Let me know when you're done so I can do your backup.
Yeah, I will. And
I'll be getting the boys in just a minute.
it's been quite a multi-day adventure because there's a lot of music on my computer. So we'll let that tree get happy. Let me rinse out my brush, get the glue out of there. I wasn't sure if I was going to need more glue on that or not, but let's let those kind of chill. I think that might be enough paper on the trees now. I think they're probably built up enough. So this one, we're trying to recreate one of Bob Ross's paintings. I mean, all kinds of people try to, you know, redo the Bob Ross stuff. I've seen people do it with frosting. I've seen people try to paint it blindfolded and only listening to what he's saying. I've seen people try to just listen and not, you know, have any idea of like where he's actually putting the brushes. So I was like, you know what? I really like my tissue paper art. It's different. So let's try to do this in a Bob Ross painting. Let me see if I can find our, what image is this? Nope, that's not the right image. That's another tissue paper painting I've done. Where's our reference image? That might have been the image I was using. Probably was. But it's a painting we've done before. It's from season 15. Episode 7, called Cabin on the Pond, Cabin by the Pond. I think it's Cabin by the Pond. Alright, so I'm gonna get the tacky glue out. You don't have to get the big honking container of tacky glue. I did because the sheer amount of tacky glue I need. Like, seriously. It is crazy. Alright, this is just a crappy paintbrush. It's seen some things. It was pretty stiff halfway up the bristles where the darker color starts to take in. I have deemed this brush my glue brush and my sealant brush. But now that it's been in the water so much, I think a lot of what was ever in there seems to have come out, because it's not quite as stiff as it was before. But yeah, this paintbrush is what, 15 years old? Maybe more? It scares me to say that. Because I'm like, no, that's not right. And I'm like, oh, wait, yes it is. It might actually be closer to 20 years old. To be perfectly honest. Okay, so we're gonna get messy. You're gonna get glue on you. It's how this works. So if we're using non-toxic glue though, it'll peel right off your fingers. It's gonna be okay. Promise. Where's my stylus? Now when you're doing the little circles, it may get a little unruly at times. You're gonna have to push it back down where it tries to pop back up. But I really wanted to do the clouds like that, because I felt like, as I put my hand in the other glue, because I wasn't paying attention, I felt like I gave it a little more life, a little more movement. So we're kind of making paper donuts, but like you don't want an actual hole that you can see through in the middle. It might happen just by how the paper decides to stick down, but try to tuck the tail underneath. So, you know, I'm making a circle and pulling the tail tight with the one hand and smushing it down with the other. And we'll be wiping the extra glue off of my other hand temporarily. We'll be doing another layer of clouds, so if it doesn't lay completely how we want it, that's fine. not the end of the world. And there I go, putting my hand in the glue again. Over there. We should probably put some paper down in there, since I keep doing that. Probably should. Now I'm not doing the little circles on the other painting. I'll show that in a few minutes. Just because I'm not. There's all kinds of colors in the sky on the other painting, and there wasn't any like big fluffy clouds. It was just kind of like straight lines of color. So it didn't really feel like it was the spot for it. The other one's definitely going to be mixed media though, because husband made a suggestion, and I didn't really want to run with that suggestion because of how I had set up the mountains around the cactus. He was talking about just leaving the cactuses plain and not doing any paper in them. And if I had put the mountains in with that as the plan, that would be one thing, but I didn't. So it's gonna look a little weird with nothing there, but I'm thinking about going in and putting some sand down and then painting the cactuses the silhouette color and seeing what that looks like. And if I'm not happy with it, then we'll change it, and I'll end up putting the tissue paper in. And if I do end up doing the tissue paper on the cactus, then that will probably be little circles. That tail's gonna stick out. That's what it wants to do, and I don't feel like fighting with it, so it's alright. There will be another color there that will cover that up. Like, even though we've made little circles, some of them might not look circular by time everything is said and done. Sorry, I had some extra glue that got on my fingertips. I was just trying to rub that off real quick. Okay. So, this can be a little bit of a slow process with the way I'm doing it, but I'm okay with that. It's not really about rushing to get to the end for me. This is just about us chilling, hanging out, and doing some arty things, really. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can really see too well. I may need to zoom that in just a little bit more. There we go. Let's try that. If that's too close, let me know. So our clouds are a couple different colors here. The pink, all of the pink is the sky, the two different tones of pink. the clouds start with the lighter purple, and then they kind of, the darker purple sort of takes over there. Next, we need to work on some spaces down below here. So I think I want to give that purple a little bit of a chance to set up. We'll see how much purple I have left of this lighter color. So like if you don't want to get glue on the tips of your fingers, the paper, like flower bud, snail shell thingies, the circular pieces that we've been doing, will probably upset you because you're gonna get glue on your fingers. I don't know if it's really feasible to do this shape. Actually, I really don't know if it's feasible to do this with gloves on at all, because then you're gonna get the glue on the glove. That one just totally, completely unwrapped the second we put it down. There is a bird outside at our house. I kid you not. I can hear him chirping, or maybe it's a squirrel. There is some sort of animal outside, and he didn't wrap it.
If it reaches the point where it's stuck together, because they're not sticking together very much, if it reaches that point, we'll just make some new ones because you weren't entirely happy with the flavor.
Okay.
So I just didn't bother.
Okay. Sorry, husband made me candy. Right, so there's some sort of animal. I don't know if it's a bird or a squirrel. It could be a squirrel, actually. That is making a noise that sounds like our kitchen timer, like somebody tapping the button on the timer to set it, to count up the minutes on it. It sounds like a faint beeping from another room, but it's outside, and it's driving me crazy because I'm like, what's going wrong with the timer? Because I can hear it. It sounds like it's coming from the other room, but no, it's something outside. And it's driving me crazy. I'm like, stop.
Was Zuzu the one bugging you?
Momo.
Okay. Because I think Zuzu with your mom taking a nap. Come on, you.
No, Momo was doing his hay. And half climbing up in my lap thing. Puppy had to pee. Not really a puppy. He's a very long in the tooth puppy. I'm not even sure how old they are anymore. 8, 9? I don't know. I'd have to go look at Facebook where the dates are on the photos. Time has run together so quickly and so much. I was seeing something, was it on Twitter? Maybe it was on a news site. Saying it was Prince William and Kate's 10th wedding anniversary, and I was like, shut the fuck up. They're not. They have not been married 10 years. And I'm like, oh, damn. Doesn't feel like it's been 10 years since they got married. It's like, no way. No way. Guess so. Very bad at measurements of time. Like, I know we went to Florida a little while ago, but it didn't feel like it had been 2.5 years ago. Like, this fall will be 3 years since we've been able to, or since we've went. Which makes me sad. I really do want to go on a vacation again, but vacations are expensive. Especially for us, because we drive. And where I love to go the most is a little expensive. Uh-oh. My flashlight fell. Sorry. Loud noise. I love Key West. It is my home away from home. If things were different and I had my way, I'd probably be living there most of the time, but everything's falling. Husband's had the candy down and now everything's falling. But we don't have the money for that. It's very expensive to live there. And the last time we went, it was a little bit expensive because A, of the time of year that we went, and B, we had the dogs with us, and C, the mother-in-law also went with us. So hotels on the way down were a little more expensive because we had to pay the pet fee. So it was hotels on the way there and on the way back. And plus, you know, third person in the room as well. So, but the mother-in-law was paying for the trip, so I couldn't really say no, she couldn't go. But next time we go, it'll probably just be the two of us, because we probably won't have the fundage to go again
Before the puppies are gone.
before the dogs pass away. So, 'cause as much as I want to go on another vacation, I know it's just not feasible right now. There's too many other things that have to be taken care of first. Like, if we were to go now, we'd either have to get the mother-in-law to come back and stay. She's off doing things with her sister, to keep an eye on the dogs and the parents. Or I'd have to get somebody to come house sit to make sure the cats got fed, that the dogs were dealt with, and that the parents had someone here to take them to doctor's appointments and stores and stuff. And we can't really take the parents with us because traveling with my dad's a nightmare because of everything that's wrong with him. And I don't think he would handle a 4-day car trip very well. He barely handled moving down here, and I think he only tolerated it because it was that or nothing. It was that or being where he was with nobody around to help him. So, I mean, he wasn't too bad on the road trip, but he has a lot of stuff that he needs when he travels. He has a sleep apnea machine, and he's on oxygen again now. So when he had moved down here, he was off of it for a while. But he's having so much trouble with the fluid retention and the COPD that he's had to go back on the oxygen again. He did get a new portable machine that just runs off of battery, but even that would be a little difficult because he doesn't have that many batteries. And where we go, like Key West is a lot of walking, and so he wouldn't be very happy about that. And there really wouldn't be much for him there that I think he would really give a shit about. Like, I think he would be into the poker run boats when they do those. That happened, I think, right after. No, that was right before I think we went. When we went a couple of years ago. But it's a special event, so hotel prices go through the roof again. So, as it was where we stayed, it was a little it was what I considered expensive. But the location kind of made it worth it. I would have not been willing to pay the price that we did if the location was not where it was. So we were like half a block off of one of the main streets, and it was down near, well, closer to where a lot of the things are. So it kind of was worth it because we didn't know how much walking the mother-in-law was going to be wanting to do, and plus we had the puppers. But we certainly gave quite a lot of business to the Hard Rock Cafe because they were at the corner, like a 2-minute walk from where we were staying. So, and they were pet friendly, they were dog friendly, I should say, which was great. So the dogs were able to go to dinner with us because they did not tolerate being left alone in the hotel room. I think the one day we ducked out and went down the hall. One time when we were going up to New Jersey, excuse me, when we had them with us, and we got to the elevator on our floor, and I could hear Zuzu howling, and I was like, I was like, no, they can kick us out if he's too much of a problem. So I had to run back, and he doesn't like being left alone in the hotel room. He's not a very laid back, chill kind of dog unless someone's with him. So, we were taking turns who was going out and doing stuff and who was dog sitting, basically. Is what that ended up working out to be. So it was a little stressful having them with us. We got quite a lot of attention with everybody stopping and wanting to pet them during sunset celebration in Mallory Square. Get down in there. I skimped a little on the glue, so stuff's kind of popping up a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't need that much glue down this time. But you kind of want it to, kind of need it to be nestled in the glue a little bit so it'll grip. It was still a fun time, but it was a little more expensive with them. Like, normally I would not be willing to pay what we paid per night. But then again, I really wouldn't normally want to go at that time of year. It was coming up into Fantasy Fest. It was like the week before. So it was a little extra crowded, a little extra busy, and things were a little extra expensive with, hotels and stuff. But the hotel had an opening that worked out for us. It's very hard to get a vacation booked into this place, from what I've been able to tell, checking availability dates. I mean, I loved the location, but We stayed, where did we stay? We stayed at Rose Lane Villas. It's the sister property to Old Town Manor in Key West. It's their vacation rental property. So people that are, you know, traveling, that maybe want a little bit more of an extended stay. The prices at Old Town Manor aren't bad at their bed and breakfast location that was like a block away, half a block away. Well, maybe a block away. That wasn't bad, but a lot of their rooms are like 2 traveler accommodations. So, sorry, I'm just getting some more glue. Takes a while to drip down the bottle there. I'm not even sure how much glue is left in that bottle. It still feels kind of heavy. But oh no, I loved Key West. Where did we eat? We ate at Hard Rock Cafe a lot just for convenience because it was right there. Prices were a little expensive, but it was Key West, so everything's kind of expensive because they have to truck all of the food in. So it's only to be expected. Because they are quite a distance from the mainland. I think it was 2.5 hours on US 1 through the Keys. Maybe a little more. Depends on traffic. Oh, we'd hit a traffic jam. Part way down. I don't know if there had been an accident. Because there's only one road in and one road out. It's like 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other. In certain spots. Other spots, I think it's 1 lane each way. So when there's an accident, which there tends to be a lot of because people aren't paying attention, if they have to shut down the road to deal with the accident, you're going to be sitting there for a little bit. They try to deal with it as promptly as they can, but you know, you can only do so much. So I know the first layer of this purple that we're working on right now going down looks a little rough. That's okay. It's going to be getting another layer on top of it once the bottom layer sets up. So one day we'll go back. We're actually talking about planning a trip going back to SeaWorld, and then maybe the aquarium in Tampa, and maybe chilling on the beach for a couple of days. But you know, that's again takes money that we don't have right now, and would also depend on Russell and how his anxiety is doing. I did see a set of vloggers that I follow on YouTube. They did a new Smyrna Beach video. And that looked kind of fun, where they were just kind of hanging out. Definitely had beach town vibes, definitely kind of reminded me of home a little bit, but a better version of home. Not sure how much there is to do there. That could be another possibility. I haven't looked too far into it. But we were thinking of going to Branson since that's closer, and we wouldn't have to do a multi-day drive. But there's not a whole lot in Branson for us to do. We were gonna go to the aquarium. We were really excited about it because they were putting one in. And then I started reading the reviews for it, and everybody was saying it took maybe 3 hours max to walk through it, and entry was $40 for an adult. And I was like, ugh, that's really expensive for 3 hours. And I was like, oh my, we got to rethink that. So I don't know if we're gonna do that after all. I mean, if they expand and add more stuff, then maybe, but that's definitely tourist trap pricing as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know about that. I don't know if I can justify that in my brain. Alright, so I'm just getting our darker purple out. Let me get a piece of paper towel here. Need to wipe off the top of the glue bottle here. Starting to get a little gunky. Oh, I left that in the... Don't leave the brush in the water. Don't do what I do. Alright, I forgot that was sitting in there. Alright, so I think next we're gonna those are still a little soggy, but that's okay. They're gonna be until the glue really starts to dry in there. Okay, so let's work on these sections next. So then we can start to put our trees in, or these other trees. At least start to get those base colors, or the base layers really. Start to lay them in. Alright, just drying off my brush so it's ready for when I need it again. And we're just going to be making more little paper circle thingies, because we're still working on the cloud stuff. Well, that one we can probably just get away with one little circle guy. So this purple, these pieces of tissue paper, like there's these squares, they were a little bit larger. So I think if you end up doing the snakes, maybe make your square a little bit bigger. It makes them a little bit easier to twist. when they're a little bit bigger. Now we're gonna have gaps, that's fine. Number one, that's why we did the paint color underneath. But number two, like I said earlier, we will be coming back in and doing a second layer on our clouds. Which will help cover any gaps that we ended up having in that first layer. And it'll just give it a little bit more of a cloud feel. And it'll try to push the sky into the background a bit more. You okay?
Yeah, I just clicked my chest.
Oh, don't do that. So I'd actually wanted to get started a little bit earlier today, but, oh, hey, can you take a container of sauce out of the freezer?
Yeah.
But, we decided that we wanted pizza for dinner. And I had to make the dough before we got started, because it needs like an hour and a half to rise. And I was like, oh no, I need to do that now. Because if I do that when I'm done, we probably won't be eating dinner until almost 8 o'clock. So let's try to think ahead about this. So that's why I got started just a little bit later. Plus I didn't get up till like 11:30. Something like that. As much as I'm enjoying having our window openable, I hate to admit it, but our room's been getting super hot, so I might need, goes the motorcycle, I might need to put the window AC unit in soon. I don't want to though. I like having my window. And then we're gonna have to deal with cats trying to jump in a window where there's not much window for them to sit in. And nothing to really look at because the air conditioner is gonna be taking up all the space. We have central air conditioning for the whole house, but for some reason the heat and the air conditioning do not affect our room whatsoever. Like, it'll reach the kitchen, which is the same distance more or less. The kitchen's right next to our room. But something seems to have gone wrong in the ductwork, and it doesn't reach our room. So our room is freezing in the winter. And it's blistering hot once it starts warming up. Got down into the 40s last night though, so that was nice. High 40s, but still 40s. Still took it quite a while to cool off in here. That was with a fan in the window, although it wasn't a very good fan in the window, but it was a fan in the window. I don't have any fans running right now, so that's probably why it seems a little extra warm in here right now. I probably should put one of them on, but I was...
Why don't you put the big one on over by my desk?
Maybe, but you said you don't like it when it hits you in the
I'm
face.
going to be outside for a little bit, so I'll just turn it on for now. Maybe I'll help cool the room off a little.
Because the fan behind me rattles quite a bit, and I don't know how annoying that's going to get for some people, so... We'll see. So I mailed a gift to someone in Australia on April 9th. The last tracking update, which was not much of an update, that I received was on April 16th, that simply said your package is moving within the system. It's en route to the next facility and is on track to be delivered to its final destination. That was on the 16th. I paid for priority shipping. I do not know where my package is. All I can tell you is that the person it was for hasn't gotten it. I can tell you that much. I don't know where it is. That person has said that mail has been pretty slow since things and stuff have taken place throughout the world. That being said, if I had known it was going to take that long on that price point for shipping, I would have asked how much is it for the next step down, and about how long will it take the next step down to get there. Because it really kind of feels like the item that I sent got put on a boat. And not a fast boat either. Because I don't understand why I'm getting nothing back. Like, why did you give me a tracking number then? It's just, it's in the nether floating somewhere. It's just missing. No idea. Like, it kind of makes me wish we could put, like, little GPS trackers on the packages. You know, if GPS tracking was a little bit cheaper. And where I would not be afraid of the battery running out on me, I would totally do it. Alright. So, we need some more greens here, so let me pull from my other bags of tissue paper that I have hanging up here. Okay. So I think this is how we're gonna try to do this. I'm gonna grab some of this green, have all of them cut and sorted by color to make my life easier. And we're gonna see what this green will do. I don't know if I'll really be ready for that green just yet, because we kind of need to get, you know, a couple of layers on up in there. Right, that's starting to dry, so that's good. Okay. So I'm just gonna move the glue around. Make sure everything is well covered. In these spots. Alright. So I'm not gonna tear this one. Just want to see what it's gonna do. So probably should have tore it. Just so I had a little bit smaller of a piece to work around. And that way it doesn't overlap too much on it, so yeah, tearing it down is probably gonna be the better way to go there. And we're not gonna fuss too terribly much. Oh, it'll let go of my finger. We're not gonna fuss too terribly much with getting it exactly right on the edges, but we do want to start to get it tucked in there, at least to a degree. Okay. And maybe one smaller piece. And we'll put that down in there. So again, we're gonna come back in with some more layers on that. I think we're gonna do one more layer on that tree before I try to add in some of the other green. So I don't want to put it on now because then it's just gonna pretty much just disintegrate because of all of the liquid from the glue. Because tissue paper, when it gets wet, whether it's with water or glue or what have you, gets very very mushy. It doesn't stand up to liquid very well in most circumstances. So like, well, that's like, it's holding up with what I'm doing, but you know, if we throw another layer on, it's just gonna get weird while it's still wet. It's not gonna hold like all of it's just gonna, the bottom layers are just gonna be like, oh, this is where we're going now. It's like, no, I need you to stay where you are. Not time for you to move yet. So we'll just let that kind of hang out. Couldn't find where the tree shape was there. There it is. down in your spot. So yeah, I kind of want to do this part before we do too much cloud layer. At least want to get the base in, just so I know how much tree I really need to work with here. And I mean, I guess in theory we could have done the whole thing in just like the torn, scrunched up pieces, if that's what you prefer. Then hey, go for it. I just kind of went with this method. I love the paper snakes because it gives it like almost an embroidered feel or an embroidered look. It's not. It's very much paper, but to me it kind of feels like it's stitching. That piece was probably a little big for the glue that I had left in that section. But that's okay. That's alright. We'll make it work. Not the end of the world, because we're going to be putting more glue on top of that. Alright. So this tree needs its first layer plopped onto it. Probably got a little carried away with the glue for what we're doing in this spot. But that's all right. Okay, just gonna rinse my brush out just in water. Just make sure you scrub the brush on the bottom of your water cup, just to make sure that the glue is out and that there isn't any glue hiding in the bristles anywhere. Alright, we actually need the other green we had earlier. Okay. So we're such absent-minded folks, the husband and I, at times. We were gonna do a fire in the fire pit. When? On Tuesday? So husband had set it up, and then I was like, oh, you know what? It's way too windy. I'm a little nervous about you doing that tonight. I think he had set it up the day before. He felt up to cutting the wood the day before. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's way too windy. So he's like, yeah. So we held off. Completely forgot that the storms were coming in. I forgot to put the cover back on the fire pit, so the wood got all wet that was in there. So now we have to wait for that to dry out, or we might actually need to put the cover back over it. I think they're saying it's gonna storm again on Sunday. No, Monday. That's why I'm so busy, because I'm like, I need to get these bloodthirsties done and ready. Because Monday they're talking about severe storms again. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be ready. I still have to work on the warlock. And that warlock, man. That warlock is like a full 6 to 8 hour endeavor just to get her to 2 bars to ding. So I'm like, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm scrambling a little bit. I'm like, oh no, we've got a lot to do. Not that much time to do it in. Alright, so I'm gonna do these 2 sections here, but I can still see some spots down there. Alright, let's come back up here, if the glue ever comes down the bottle, which it may or may not. This section glued up in here. I know I'm jumping around a little bit from section to section, but sometimes that just makes things easier to deal with. Gives other sections a chance to dry a bit. Husband is doing some cleaning on the front porch that needs to be done. Once a year we get a free bulk trash pickup. So we're trying to figure out what's gotta go, because we do have some things that need to go. There's a table that's falling apart that was on the front porch, and just other stuff that is just bulky that we don't want to waste city trash bags on, because we have to buy trash bags for the city for our regular trash. So this is an opportunity to throw things away that we don't need those city trash bags for, because you have to sign up for a plan for how many bags you think you're going to go through in a year at the beginning of the year. And then if you overshoot your plan, then you have to buy bags by the bag or some shit. And buying them by the bag is really expensive. It's like $3 a bag. And I'm like, what? And some people who are outside city limits will just burn the trash that they can get away with burning. But in city limits, you're not allowed to do that. So I'm trying to take advantage of this. Now, you could also just take your stuff directly to the dump without the city bags. That's, I think, minimum $10 a load and up, depending on the weight of what you're dropping off. Seems a little much for this area, but I don't know. We will see. I kind of would like us to think about doing solar panels, but don't know if that's really feasible. was the wrong color purple that got mixed in there. I don't know if our roof will be happy about that, because the roof's a funny shape, and it's not like we could really set them up in the backyard because there's trees everywhere. And we've got 2 trees that, after it's windy, that are just depositing remnants of themselves everywhere. The one tree's like half dead, that caused the problems, or caused a problem with the roof. That apparently went on for quite some time that we didn't know about, until our neighbor's like, you know, there's a hole in your roof, right? And we're like, what? No, we did not know there was a hole in the roof. And then another part of the roof was really soft, and so it was a disaster. And turns out the one roofing company was telling us, oh, well, whoever re-roofed this the last time used the wrong kind of shingles in this one section of the roof where it's flat, or almost flat. You can't use standard shingles in this section, you have to use a special kind of shingle, and they didn't do that, and then that caused problems in that section, and Russell wasn't here when that problem happened. He was up in New Jersey, and the mother-in-law doesn't really call for estimates and stuff, and sometimes the lowest price isn't always the best option. Like, Russell and I want to see that you have a pre-made price list. We don't want you just pulling numbers out of your ass, because we had to have electrical work done, and we were trying to find somebody, and Russell's like, well, let's see about going with somebody local, and one of the local people we called didn't have a price list. He was saying, oh yeah, this will be about this much, and probably be close to this, and we were like, no, we don't have a whole lot of money to fix this. I need more than a probably as an estimate. I need an in-writing estimate. And we need to have a more definite estimate, because we're not playing that game where you're gonna quote me one price and then have it be $500 more than that, because, oh well, that was just an estimated price. No. So then we switched to somebody else that wasn't, it was sort of a local company but not really. It was a nearby company. They had laminated price sheets, very professional. And we did go over the estimation on that, but that was because they saw something, they told us about it, and we're like, oh yeah, let's fix that. And we added something else while they were in the process of doing things. So we liked them. We haven't had any issues with what they've done. Trying to figure out where my second layer starts over here. I'm not sure if, like, the one color will probably get a second layer, but it'll probably depend on a few things. Like this purple will probably get some more second layers on stuff. So I may work on this one a little bit off stream if I have time, at least for the more tedious sections where it's just all one color on this area. We'll see though. Like I said, it really depends on quite a multitude of factors. With how busy I am in the next coming week. Next week will be a little better. What time is it? It's almost 4:30 now. Okay. Just keeping an eye on time. So I'm not gonna sweat too many unruly pieces of paper in that layer because, like I said, I'm gonna come back in and do a little bit more on top of that. Got my two purples mixed together here. Okay. So now, those are doing okay. All right. Next up, where did it go? Actually, I'm not feeling that well today, so we might stop here. I feel like we really haven't done anything today, though. Well, no, we still have some purple we can do. Let me move these guys off of the canvas here. Alright, so yeah, we'll try to get a little bit more done actually. Can get a little bit in here done. And let's kind of, there we go. We'll work on getting that section in. Okay, just gonna give that a second to set up. so hot in here. Very, very toasty. I'm not sure what the temperature is in our room. Not even sure what it is outside today. Nope, nope, nope. You need to hang out there. If you hear any thumping, husband's doing something on the front porch. Hopefully, it doesn't get picked up. All right. My kitten mauling injuries are healing. My pinky's looking good. Let's see if I can. Yeah, that looks pretty good. My arm too. Don't hold the cat while she's trying to get away. I told Russell we should have named her Bitey McBite Bites instead of little bits. She leads with her face. And it's just teeth coming at you when she's wound up. If she wants to play, man, it's face first, teeth out. Be prepared. She's still very much a kitten that wants to roughhouse, who's kind of crazy and a bit of a spaz. Today she was attacking my hair. I bent over to pet her. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So it's just different shapes and tissue paper. And seeing what we can do with it. And it is a little bit of a labor of love. It does take a little bit of time. But what comes out at the end looks pretty interesting at times. But so far, so good. So I do have a color key that I did painted in, just so that I knew where my colors were going offhand, so I didn't have to keep bringing up the reference photo and trying to get the placement right on that. And there's probably sections where I'm not completely following that key, and that's fine. It was more just for reference for me, so I didn't have to worry about not paying attention fully to where things were placed while I'm streaming at the same time. So That was just to help me stay focused a little bit. So you wash the brush there. Just a cup of water. Just getting the glue out. Alright, so that's our darker evergreen color. So let's rip up that paper just a little bit. And I am using a stylus. You can use a toothpick, you can use handle of a paintbrush that you don't care about it getting glue on it. You could use a little arm off a paper clip, just something sturdy enough to push the paper around or to help slide it into where it needs to go. So I'm just kind of smushing the pieces around for the tree, just to give them a little bit more of a tree-like texture. So that way they're not fully flat. Gives it a little bit more of a leafy feel. And these two trees have about 3-4 layers of tissue paper on them, so we'll probably do close to the same on the evergreens. I was thinking about trying to two-tone the evergreen, but I'm not sure if that's going to come out the way I'm thinking it might. I mean, we could always just put new paper over top of it if we don't like how it comes out, but we need to get a couple more base colors down first. Or get the base colors more established height, thickness wise. We kind of want this to be all scrunchy and mushy and kind of all over the place, just to give that more of the feel that we're going for. Kind of tuck it all up in. So you don't want it really sitting on top of the sky colors that this pink is, but maybe tucked up against it. And I guess if you really wanted to sit on top of that, you could, but alright, we're gonna do this tree here. I was thinking about pausing, but maybe we'll just go till 5. Go another half hour. Come on, glue. Glue's like, no, I don't want to come out of the bottle yet. Alright, so we'll work in this guy. Oh, I didn't do that purple there yet. That's alright. We can work with that. Just kind of moving the glue around. You need to behave. You're not staying where you're supposed to. Alright, just making sure that's all in the spots that it needs to be in, and again, just washing the brush out because we don't want the glue to sit in the brush, because as hot as it is in here, it will probably be drying faster than I'm expecting it to. Alright. Just gonna work on tucking this up against our cloud. And our other tree. And we'll tuck this one over here. So this is just regular, like, gift wrap tissue paper that, you know, you'd put in a gift bag, or that you would make tissue paper flowers out of. It's nothing special. Some regular old tissue paper. I would not recommend trying this with the bleeding tissue paper. Number one, the bleeding tissue paper is a lot more expensive than the regular tissue paper, and I just don't see the need for using that special tissue paper, and I don't know how much of the color might leach out into the glue, because when we go to seal this, I use Mod Podge on top as the final protectant, and I put that on with a brush. And if you're brushing across bleeding tissue paper, don't know how that's gonna go, so I have a feeling that you'd be picking up some of that pigment in the Mod Podge and probably creating a hot mess. So regular tissue paper is highly recommended if you attempt this. Sometimes you have to be a little bit patient with it and make sure that you don't have too much glue built up on whatever you're using to push your paper around, because then, you know, it'll just start to stick to your stick and then you'll just be getting upset. I think, let me slide over just a little bit. Start to get in the next section of the light purple. So I don't want to skimp on the glue too much this time, because that didn't do me any favors. So, I mean, you don't want a huge puddle of it. Like, you don't want it to be too thick, because then it's just gonna slide around all over, but you need enough to nestle your glue circle down in there. Or your paper circle, excuse me. Glue circle. We're not scrapbooking. Glue circle is something else entirely. I did do scrapbooking for a little bit, but I didn't do traditional scrapbooking. I did something else. I kind of used it as a more of like a journal, but it was sort of like only a journal I understood. I didn't really write in it, but ow, little hairs on the back of my hand getting stuck in the glue that I wiped on there. Kind of like ripping off a band-aid. But yeah, when I was doing scrapbooking, I'm very big into music, and I find it can be therapeutic. And some songs will just speak to you. They trigger certain memories or explain certain situations that you had to deal with. So I would get like the big photo scrapbook, like the 12 by 12. And the time period that I was in my life, I would get stickers and, you know, the paper and all of it, all the 9 yards. And I would create scrapbook pages with the lyrics to songs handwritten out. And, you know, whatever I felt went with that particular song or situation. If I had a photo, I would put it in there. I didn't necessarily have a photo all the time that helped represent that situation, so most of the time it was, I think, just the song lyrics written out, sometimes on one page, sometimes it encompassed 2 pages, depends on how long the song was. But I found it to be kind of like a small bit of therapy, and just let me kind of deal with things emotionally. I think I still have both of those books. I know there was definitely one book, and it's a book that I didn't really let other people see because it felt kind of private. So I was kind of weird about, you know, oh no, you know, that's my book. You're not gonna understand what's in there, and I don't want to explain it to you. But I think those survived the move. I'm pretty sure they came with me when we moved down here. I might look for those later. Because now I can't remember if I had put photos in there. I mean, this is before I got married, so... Oh, how long ago was that? I think this is our 13th year of marriage? 14th year? I don't remember. I think we got married in 07. So, been a while. Maybe 15, 16 years ago I made those books. It was when I was still working at the craft store. Because, you know, employee discounts at the craft stores are, you know, every penny counts. That's the wrong shade of purple. It wasn't a very big discount, but 20% was still 20%. And then we could use our 40% off coupon on one item on top of it. So I do miss that employee discount, especially on art stuff, on the like the canvases and the paints and things. Do miss that. But the store I worked for is no longer in business. They recently went into bankruptcy. Well, I guess not that recently. I think in November they announced that they were going into bankruptcy, and I think they had closed the doors by, like, I don't know, was it Christmas week? Week before Christmas? Something like that. Which is kind of crazy, but felt bad for the people that I knew that were still there. I had long since left at that point. I was already living down here in Arkansas. And that craft chain did not have any locations here. They were more of an East Coast craft store. They had been trying to branch out, but I think Hobby Lobby moving in the same shopping center as the Michaels. Is that a kick in the pants for you? I'm sure Michaels is thrilled about that. Don't have far to go to do comparison shopping though. I'm sure they're in there every day with their clipboards writing down prices, making it real fucking obvious. Plus there was a Joann's, at least not far from both of those locations, so it's like, I mean, Hobby Lobby was probably the final nail in the coffin, because Michaels was around for quite some time while I was working for AC Moore. And they coexisted just fine. We honored each other's coupons. Like, Michaels had some stuff that you just could not get at AC Moore, and I don't know why you couldn't get it at AC Moore. I don't know if they just didn't want to carry it, or I don't know, because some of it was just kind of like, oh, this would be awesome if we only had this at the other store. So I actually had to go and shop at Michael's at times because I couldn't get it at my home store, which sucked because then I couldn't use my employee discount on it. Like little mosaic tiles, they had an awesome selection of those over at Michael's. It took a long time, I think, before AC Moore picked them up. But I always found Michael's to be a little bit more expensive than AC Moore pricing. I especially thought Michael's was expensive when we went back to New Jersey. Oh, what was it? 2 years ago? To either move my mom or my dad, and we had popped in there. And, like, even just the drawing pencils, I was like, oh. I was like, this is expensive. But there was a time where you could get, like, single pencils loose at AC Moore for like $1 a pencil, and I was like, okay, cool. They didn't have that at Michael's that I went to. Not the one, at least at the time I was in there, in South Jersey, which kind of bewildered me, because I'm like, why? They're like all in sets, and I was like, well, shit. So I ended up having to buy a small set. And I spent more than I wanted to, because I didn't really want that many pencils, but it's okay. They'll get used eventually. I mean, I have used them since for various things. It's just at the time I hadn't wanted to spend that kind of money on art supplies when we were on the road. But what can you do? I didn't plan ahead and didn't think that I was going to need them, but then something happened and we got delayed, or it was raining and we couldn't go do what we wanted to do, so we were kind of stuck hanging out in the hotel. Actually, I think that was when we were moving my dad down, and my mom was like hot on my trail, and I didn't want to talk to her because I was pissed off, and I really didn't want her showing up at my dad's trying to get me to talk to her. So I think I had gotten some stuff to keep me occupied at the hotel, and Russell was helping my dad finish up with the couple of things that he still needed to mail out. I just couldn't handle the nonsense that was going on at the time. Oh no, I dropped paper. Dropped a paper snake. Oh no. The amount of tissue paper pieces that I think have been lost to the floor under my desk recently is probably almost criminal. Like, it's so dark under my desk, it just kind of falls down into the abyss of dust bunnies, animal fur, and just general like sand and dirt that comes in off the dog's feet and my shoes. And I have an area rug that's sort of down under my desk. It's really only there to keep my chair from rolling backwards because the floor's not level, and it's sort of duct taped to the floor in a couple of places, but I don't know if the suction from the vacuum would rip the tape up, so I'm not sure if I can really vacuum it. I should probably at least get the broom under there and try to sweep off what I can. But I think there's a couple spots on the rug that I have to trim, because there's some pulls in it, and if I do try to vacuum it, it's gonna get caught in the brushes on the vacuum, and then there will be much angry squealing from the vacuum, and no one will be having a good time, so. But that would mean I actually have time to do that. But we did just clean recently, like, not a full spring clean, but I did have to reorganize the art supply storage for a little bit, so hang on, I forgot, why do I have messages? Hang on, why is the husband messaging me? Oh, okay, that's what that is. Oh, I don't need that up. Okay. Forgot I had the stream up on a second window so that I could get the right link to it. Because I usually have my stream windows on the second monitor that's off to the side. But today they're in front of me. Alright. So yeah, it does take a little bit of time. A little bit of patience. But, you know, that's like the whole thing with art though. Like, why are you rushing it? Just let it do its thing. Let it happen. Let it come together. Like, this isn't watercolor, so it's not like we can just bang out a project in like a half an hour or an hour even. Even when I was doing the Bob Ross tutorials, which we've done in the past, he would do his painting in like a half an hour, and I'd be working on it for like 4 hours, pausing the tutorial as we went, and you know, just trying to figure things out, talk through it. Because when I was following his tutorials, I was doing them much more scaled down. So I had to find a brush that was going to work. I had to mix my colors. So that took a little bit longer, since I was not working on as large of a surface as he was. I had to stop and think about, okay, how do we want to do this? How do we want to try to replicate this? So this is part 4. Parts 1, 2, and 3 are up on my YouTube channel for anyone that wants to go back and see from the beginning. The beginning will involve me putting down the color key and the sketching out process that I did to set everything up. For those that are interested there. And on YouTube, it's just NiseyBGN. There's a bunch of stuff on my YouTube channel. It's not just art, it's also some different game stuff. And the one machinima that's still getting a heck ton of views. And especially all of the comments are like, why is there none of this race in the game? Or why, not the game, why is there none of this race in the video? And it's like, because those races weren't in the game yet. Look at the year the machinima was released. And look at the year those races were brought into the game. I think those other races came into the game. They might have come in that year, but later in the year, well after I had already posted it. So, unfortunately, my YouTube channel is not monetized yet. I don't have the following over there, and I didn't even think of trying to monetize it when it was a little bit... I don't even think I realized you could try to monetize it at that time. And I don't know if I would have met the requirements then, but I certainly don't meet them now. I don't have enough subs over there, and I don't have enough watch hours yet. I'm like nowhere near the sub count. Or the watch hours either, actually. But that's okay. There was a while there where I wasn't giving the YouTube channel much love, but that's what the other tissue paper project I'm working on is gonna be going towards. It's gonna be, oh god, the editing I'm gonna have to do on that. Oh, that's gonna be, I think I have like 15 hours of uncut footage so far on that, or close to it, that I have to cut out all the weird pauses where I didn't pause the recording and then try to put that into a sped up version. And I have a very distinct feeling that the quote-unquote speed paint of that project is probably going to be like a half an hour long. I would not be surprised. Like I said, this isn't a quick project. I don't like rushing through my art. I mean, it's awesome to be like, yeah, I'm done. But if you don't like how it came out because you rushed it, then, you know, it doesn't feel as satisfying. So I don't know how many parts there will be to this particular project. But you know what? We'll keep going till we're done. Right, that will be getting another layer of purple on top of it. This is firming up pretty good. So we need to get some more purple up in here, the lighter purple. We can get the glue to cooperate. Like, it's pretty far down in the bottle, but like I said, I'm not sure how much is still left in here, though it feels pretty hefty. Gonna smear this out a little bit. I was gonna say smooth it out, but really don't want it to be that smooth. I want it to be a little bit thick. Don't want it to be too thinned out. Just trying to make sure all of the places that may potentially grip onto the paper are good and sticky-fied. Alright. I think we might have gotten a little ambitious with the amount of glue I put down versus the color that I have pre-twisted. So this does involve a little bit of off-screen prep for me to make the little paper snakes that I'm spinning into a circle. But we'll see what I have left. I might have to twist some more real quick to at least finish filling out the color that we're working on. We'll see. See how it goes. Really? So our siding is gets really dirty because we have white siding, and we're in an area that can be kind of dusty from traffic constantly going by, because we're on a fairly busy road. And the husband's out on the porch trying to clean, and I don't know what he's cleaning with, but I can hear him scrubbing the siding, and it's making a zhoo, 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 zhoo. I don't know if he's using a sponge or a mop. So we never did go to the dollar store and get like a car washy sponge. We were gonna, and we just never made it back there. Speaking of, I got my stick, my stylus stick, my dotty tool, whatever you want to call it, at Dollar Tree. They're starting to up their craft selection a little bit. Not tremendously, like it'll never be like it'll never have a Hobby Lobby selection or like a Michaels selection or even Joann's, but you know, if you're in a pinch or money's kind of tight, I would, you know, don't knock the Dollar Tree. Don't count it out. Now, some people's Dollar Trees have a little bit more of a selection than others. Dollar Tree is kind of a grab bag. You never know what you're really gonna find in there because the stock seems to change pretty regularly. It's like, oh, hey, we bought this. Put it out. So if you see something you want to use for a project, I would get all of it that you think you're going to need when you see it. I would not say, oh, well, I'll come back and get it tomorrow. No, just get it now. 'Cause it may not be there tomorrow when you come back, or next week. As far as like crafty things go, because it seems like whenever they get any neat crafty supplies in, they are gone in the blink of an eye. And there's nothing wrong with that, just, you know, take that into consideration. Most definitely. If you're doing a really big project, you might not be able to get the amount that you need. And like some stuff I wouldn't get in the Dollar Tree craft section, like I wouldn't get their canvases. You can actually find some decent cheaper canvases at Dollar General. I found their stretcher bars are not as thick as like canvas that you'll find at Walmart or like your craft stores, but if you're in a pinch, don't forget to check your Dollar Generals either, and your Walmart. I mean, a lot of people talk down on Walmart, but you know what? If that's all you have available to you, definitely check out their art and craft supply couple of aisles. You'll be amazed at what you find, and don't get snotty, and don't supply shame and turn up your nose over like Crayola stuff, because if that's all that you have access to, or that's all that you have the money to get, I've seen some people do some really awesome stuff with pretty inexpensive supplies. And you know what? It'll help you get practice in. You know, it'll help you maybe learn that new technique or try out this new thing that you wanted to, and you won't be so afraid of, you know, ruining your more expensive supplies or using them up on something that you weren't happy with because it's something that you've never done before. Sometimes, you know, it can give you a little bit more confidence. Now this one will probably be going up in the Etsy store when we're done. Most likely. I don't see any reason why we couldn't. It should ship fine. Don't know how heavy it's going to be. Because, you know, we are putting a ton of paper on here. So shipping on this one might be a little more. I'm sorry I don't offer free shipping in my shop at this time. If sales were a little more robust, then I would consider it, but since they're not, I can't really afford to pay for the shipping out of pocket at the moment. And my stuff's not priced that expensive. This one will probably be a little bit more though, just because of the time that's been put into this one. So the tissue paper, I actually, tissue paper, you wouldn't think tissue paper would be expensive. And in general, it's not really, depending on where you get it from, and depending on how much you need. The amount of colors I needed, it was not going to be economically friendly for me to... You okay?
Yeah, just tired.
Okay.
Hey, did you know that the quote-unquote fuzzy welcome mat in front of your parents' room actually has colors? Because they didn't know. I had to show them after about 10 minutes of hitting the thing to get the dust out.
Fuzzy...
Yeah, the welcome thing.
Oh, that one's ancient.
Yeah, well, apparently no one's beaten it since the beginning of time, because turns out it's not supposed to be gray.
No, it's tan.
Oh no, it has flower patterns. Exactly.
I don't know if we're talking about the same mat. We might not be talking about the same welcome mat. Anyhow. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, right. So, it was not gonna be financially beneficial for me to buy each color individually. So I took a chance and ordered a couple bulk packs of tissue paper. And what I was afraid, because sometimes when you get stuff in bulk assorted colors, you never know if you're going to get the same colors in each package. The one package I'm a little unsure of, because they're in a different order, it looks like. But the other couple of packages look to be the same, so maybe that one just had a weird packaging issue. And that's fine. You know, I'm not gonna sweat that too much since the other ones came up, but I mean, It was $10 for a pack of 36 colors, and I got 10 sheets on each color. So, I mean, not terrible. Not fantastic, but not terrible. I got that through Amazon. I mean, I probably could have gone to Party City and seen what their prices were like. That's where I'd gotten my tissue paper before. But they're kind of on the other side of Fayetteville for us. And sorry, I'm just getting some of the excess glue off my fingers before I go back in. Things were starting to get a little sticky. But like Walmart was out of a lot of colors. Walmart was tough. Like, the price point wasn't bad, but the color selection was, you know, it was gift baggy. Like, it was seasonal. So I was like, I don't know about this. And then I wasn't sure how much I was going to get out of each package, and then the colored packages were like dual colors, and it was like a darker shade and a lighter shade, and then I was like, don't know if this is gonna work. So I did get this is the Walmart tissue paper. I did get it. I got a couple colors from Walmart because I needed them for a different project. So I'm just kind of using up the Walmart color, and I got a substantial amount from the Walmart ones, so it wasn't bad, but I don't know if those are colors they carry all the time, or if it was just because it was spring so they had them, because, you know, gift wrapping areas in stores with like the gift card and stuff seem to rotate depending on the season at times. So something to take into account if you need a lot of one color. So that one. That one got a little unruly there. Come on. Alright. So I think we'll finish up with this purple and then we'll end up calling it a day. I actually went longer than I was going to, because I got too into what we were doing here. And I'll see if I can get some of the darker purple on the sky done outside of stream this week. We'll see, because I'm working on the other project, so no promises, but we'll try. And I'll do a unzoomed shot for where things stand so far as soon as I get done placing this purple. So don't forget, this layer of cloud that we're putting in is going to look a little messy. I'm going to come back in and do a second layer over top of these guys. I might do that later tonight, but that'll probably be done off stream if I have time. Like I said, I still have to get some stuff done for wild challenges. It's a busy weekend. Next weekend I'll have a little bit more time to fuss with stuff. So I think I'm co-hosting with Lita on the 15th. I'm not sure who's co-hosting this week. I feel like it might be Stir, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's probably either Chris or Stir. Although Chris did just co-host, so I'm not sure. Could be Execute for all I know. He will sometimes, once in a while, help out with co-hosting. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get one more in there. This is a bit of a tiny piece. It does, the snakes, or the little flowery shaped snail shell things, seem to work better when you have a bigger piece of tissue paper. Alright, so let me move these guys to the side. Definitely need to get some more of the lighter purple twisted, because we definitely are going to need it, because not only do we need to do a little bit more in the sky up in here in our second layers, we also have water to deal with at the bottom. So let's... Camera's going to get weird for a second. Bear with me. Alright, so that is where we're at so far. We've got a good amount done on the sky. We're working on getting our clouds filled in all in here. We got a couple of trees put in, at least their base colors, and we're getting there. Definitely getting there. We still have to do a house and our bush lines and stuff, but this up here is everything that's done so far. So not bad. Pretty happy with how it's coming together. Now let me show you the other one that I'm working on currently. Give you a sneak peek on that. And that is this one, where it's sort of a deserty cactus scene with a sunset. So I've got the mountains done, and I'm just starting work on the sky. And we've got some more mileage to go on that one, but I don't think we've got a whole lot of more work to go. Maybe 2 more weeks on this one, and then I can start editing the photo or the video for that and get that up on YouTube. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for popping in. I know we didn't go too long today. Unfortunately I didn't get started when I wanted to, so things and stuff, but we definitely are making some progress, and well, I'll work on getting the next layer of our clouds done. I wanted to make sure that the bottom layer was definitely set before I put more glue on the upper layers. So you guys, good luck on your art projects. If you're doing any art projects, feel free to tag me on Twitter at NiseyBGN. And while you're there, go ahead and hit the follow button if you would be so kind, and then you'll know when I'm going live, because I always post over there. Or you can, do the followy things here, and make sure your notifications are turned on for Twitch. And then you'll know when I go live through that method as well. So I will be modding at the Wild Challenges podcast tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night on Twitch. If you are into the challenge seen for World of Warcraft, you might want to give that a looky-loo. If not, that's cool. We do art every Friday, usually. And Wednesday I will be streaming again, weather permitting, for the Bloodthirsty challenge from WoW Challenges for World of Warcraft. So hopefully we can get some stuff done there. Alright, so you guys have a great weekend if I don't see you again. Again, thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. It's one of the most valuable things we have is our own time to give to other people. And I truly believe that. So, thank you for giving me some of yours today. Even if it was just a quick pop in and pop out. I do greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know if that's Skirt or Skit1 Guru, SKT1 Guru. Well, I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced, but thank you for popping in and leaving a little comment. Do appreciate it. And have a great weekend, you guys, again. And I will see you either tomorrow or on Wednesday for the Bloodthirsty Challenge. So you guys have a great night. And until then, stay out of trouble and have a great time.